What's up, guys? Today we are going to talk about how to start doing well in telesales with Real Financial. So telesales is going to be a little bit different than, say, your typical in-home, because obviously you're still over the phone. In previous videos, we have talked about, the differences between in-home and telesales. So this one is focused on doing well in telesales. The first thing is obviously your dial time is your money-making activity. So the most important thing you can do is to dial. A lot of people want to avoid dialing and dial as little as possible, but the problem with this is the best way to be successful, at least over the phone, is to dial. Once you start getting more clients and doing more, at that point, then if you want to go do something else, start maybe doing advanced markets or anything like that, you can do that. But if you want to start off and do very, very well, you have to put in the time to dial, because the better of a client you get, the better you have to be at rebuttals and building that connection. So just getting those dials in helps you exponentially to be able to succeed. The next thing is systems in order to organize. This is kind of an issue that you can solve a little bit later once you have a couple policies sold. So the big problem is we do talk to a lot of people, and as you start to sell, it's very hard to keep up with all the people who you're keeping on the books. The important thing is being able to keep track of everybody. And that's one of the hardest things, because when you write a policy and you haven't been paid for it yet, you need to be able to track if you're actually going to get paid. Because if you're not, you need to be able to find that person to make sure that you are getting paid. Having systems to be able to do that is super helpful in being successful over the phone. The next one is probably the one I struggled with the most. Don't struggle with the carriers, okay? This business is about velocity, and the thing is, you need to focus on just a couple carriers. The first one would obviously be, we write a lot of Americo. The reason why we write Americo is because you get paid the second it gets submitted. That helps you pay your rent, pay your bills, and then if something does happen, at least you've made an ROI on that lead and you can deal with the rest later. The next one that I normally do AIG simplified issue and then AIG guaranteed issue. Those only pay when they pay. So it's a little bit tougher. So I'm always shooting to try and get paid now, but if I have to get paid later, that's fine. But again, you have to be able to keep it going. So working with policies that issue quickly, that's the name of the game when you're over the phone. The next one is, this business is about velocity. So what do I mean by this? I kind of touched on it a little bit with like Americo. The thing is, you have to be able to get more people, but some people will fall off. So you have to have enough people coming in and selling enough people policies to be able to counter any chargebacks you have. Chargebacks only suck if you don't have anybody to replace them. But if you can get enough people to replace them, while they hurt a lot less if you have a lot of people. So you have to constantly be putting policies on the books in order to do very well. Because if you don't, you're going to have one chargeback, and then you're going to have to start going to different carriers in order to get past that chargeback. So what will happen is a lot of people, they'll get a negative balance in one location, and then they'll go to another, and then they'll go to another. Well, the problem is then you just have chargebacks everywhere and you eventually sink and fall. So this business is all about velocity. You have to be able to get enough people a policy and then make sure that it goes through. Then you can go from there, okay? You have to have velocity. If you do not have velocity, you're going to be dead in the water, because then your money's going to come in slowly and you're not going to be able to capitalize on that. The next one is, the classic chargebacks happen. So, you counter this by more business. Now, obviously, you need to be great on the phone and you have to build that connection. But even then, a lot of chargebacks will still happen. Not as many if you're very good, but you'll still have them. They're still a thing. So the important thing is making sure that you can keep them on the books, but also doing enough business that if you do get a chargeback, it's not as big of a deal, because chargebacks will happen. That's the most important thing. So you just have to expect them to happen and then counter for that. The next one is one that's kind of talked about very little, but it's very important. Your cost per lead matters a lot. And a lot of people think that buying the more expensive leads over the phone is the best way to do it. When in reality, from my experience, it's been having some nice ones is great for getting an ROI, but supplementing them with aged leads and cheaper leads is great. So then you have a big, massive quantity to choose from. So then you can spend $10 on a lead, but you can supplement that with a bunch of $2 leads as well. So now you have a stack of 100, and you can probably get the sale off a $10 lead, but also you can probably pick up quite a few off the $2 leads. So that increases your ROI without having to spend a ton of money. And once you get better, at that point, that's when you can go spend more money on leads and make more money. Again, you got to get some velocity, but starting off, your cost per lead matters a lot. And even when you're doing well, your cost per lead matters, because if you paid a lot for that lead and they charge back, you got a problem. The next one is just going to be just tap into the meetings at Real Financial. We do have a great sales trainer, Andy Elliott. It's a great way to be better. So with that, almost every night we have a call. Hop on those calls, see what people are doing, because that's where we're getting that information of where are we pivoting, what are we doing, what are we encountering, so we become better as a company, and you can be better as a producer. If you see somebody who's doing really well, you can see them on those meetings, and you can ask them, hey, what are you doing? So it gives you a great opportunity to be able to take from other people and do even better. The last one is, if you're in Real Financial, you do have the virtual training. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, join Real Financial. The link will be in the description. But with that, you can tap into that virtual training and you can keep training. We got the best virtual training in the industry, objection handling, advanced markets, anything you need to know about, we have that in there, and also our file vault with everything that everybody does. It's very systematized. So if you are confused, don't be afraid to just tap into that training, see what they're doing, because most of the successful people are doing exactly what is on that training. So it's a great way to, especially if you're nervous with objections, anything like that, you can go on there and you can figure out what to do. So it sets you up for success. We want to make sure that you do succeed here, and going and doing that training is the best way to ensure you will succeed. So that is some of the top ways that you can really succeed in Real Financial. If you did get some value from this, please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. It really helps out. I know you're just starting out, but I'm excited for this to go. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you next week.